Welcome to the Novice Sports Show. Like I said, this is the 11th episode. Of course, we had three guys. It's a podcast about three guys who came together organically to talk about sports from a novice point of view. So, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and do the introductions. We got my man
AJ.
We got
Jay.
we got A-Dub. So, of course, this is a good weekend to talk about sports. We had the draft. We had the WNBA draft last week?
Yeah.
All right, and then of course we had the
NBL playoffs.
NFL, NBA playoffs happening, so we got some potential sweeps here and there. But we're gonna go ahead and jump in right quick with a little bit of football because that's the hottest topic. So of course, I struggled to stay up to try to watch the draft. It was not exciting, but of course they did set a record for drafting 6 quarterbacks in the first round. The previous record was 5. So one of those bonehead moves, the Atlanta Falcons had actually paid Kirk Cousins, and if they're going to pay for that with a little bit of tampering, quote unquote. But why would you draft another quarterback in the first round when you just paying another one? There's memes going around saying, by the time Penix start, he gonna have a white beard. So because they paying Kurt all this money.
Yeah.
So, so what do y'all think? I didn't think they were going to do that. I thought they may have gone O-line to shore up some things, but to get a man from Minnesota, Kirk, then you go get a quarterback. God, you're just tying up all your capital in one position, basically.
So here's what because I watched, I was like, because everything was kind of going as planned, da, 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 and then bam.
Yeah.
Because everybody was like, they need defense to be the first defensive player. So I listened to the people that, tried to say it was a good move. And so what they said is, if everything goes as planned, Kirk Cousins is your quarterback. He's healthy. He's going to do what you want him to do, right? He recovers from his injury. You're going to be good.
Yeah.
And when you're good, you typically aren't in a position to draft a quarterback. So they're saying, well, if we really like this quarterback, because all the reports said they had him ranked number 2 on their list, which I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go ahead and get him now because we won't be in this position down the road. Okay, makes sense if you're the Chiefs, if you're a team that's winning Super Bowls and everything's already in place and you can kind of take a gamble like that. But when your roster is not complete, when you got so many holes, that ain't the time to be thinking about the future, right? You need to do something now.
I see you. I'm gonna draft a quarterback.
And here's the other thing. That dude is almost as old as Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
So let's say Kirk Cousins does great for 2 years, right? I think his guaranteed money is like for 3 years. So you don't,
crazy.
and then so you got Penix, which everybody wants on the cheap rookie deal. But by the time he plays, you're gonna have to pay him. So that defeats the purpose.
Yeah,
Now,
that's the whole point, though. So now you're tying up all this capital, and hopefully, think about it. All right, so the organization itself, they drafted Bijan last year, and the year before that they drafted, I think, Pittman, right? So you're going to have 2 stars. You're going to have to re-up before you pay your quarterback. And you're going to be paying him. You're going to keep Pittman. If not, he's going to walk. Then you're going to be in the same quote unquote situation as you were before with no weapons.
Because even if Michael beats him out, he ain't playing.
Again, the only way he'd play is if Kirk Cousins is horrible, and then you're just eating that money, which is then you're not in a better position. You're still bad. Now, we have a great, I guess you could say, have a great backup quarterback. So now we're still back where we are now, except you're still paying a quarterback that's not playing, and then by the time both deals are going to run out at the same time, so you're going to have to pay your rookie who's 30 years old.
Right.
You have to pay him. I just don't get it. And it's kind of like what happened with Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Yeah.
They were like, we're winning now. We're in a position to win. If you give us a couple more weapons or a couple more pieces, we can win the whole thing. But instead, you're going to draft my replacement. So, I get a little salty about that.
Yeah, like I said, the same thing happened with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers and Caleb Love.
Yeah,
So-
when you're close and you feel like you had a good team and you made some good moves, I just don't feel like that's the time to make this kind of move for the future
Yeah.
for somebody that you're hoping doesn't have to play.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, so it's again, I thought it was not a good move because they had so many holes on the rosters. Like I said, I thought they would have gone trench, maybe defensive tackle or linebacker or something. But when they didn't, I was just like, what? So because that was the biggest surprise of the first round.
Oh,
Everybody
100%. Yeah, yeah.
the way it went. Caleb went number one, and we're gonna see. And they did. Speaking of switching gears up right quick, so number one pick, of course, was Caleb. Everybody that was in the know that he didn't even know knew.
Yep.
But they said they were trying to get him used to being the face of the franchise when he came in. So they already told him they were gonna pick him.
Oh, yeah, yeah, he knew.
So he knew that.
There was no
So,
surprise. Yeah.
So I was in here like, yeah, number one, he's already being compared to Mahomes, and I said, bruh,
A lot of weight.
a lot of weight put on the young man's shoulders. I said, especially, with the new coaching staff. I said it's going to be a hard division. I said, but with Detroit and Green Bay playing good ball, so it's going to be interesting, man. Like I said, again, this is just my opinion from a novice point of view. I don't see them being extremely successful, and like I said, because I'd say they're going to give them 2 years.
You want to give who do you?
Caleb.
Yeah, Caleb, like I said, because the first year you're normally not that good, right? You have a sophomore learning curve, then you explode out. So
Sometimes, I mean,
Yeah.
you look at what Stroud did. I mean, he was way better
Yeah.
his rookie year than people
Yeah.
thought he was going to be. And on paper, everybody says Caleb is way better than that. So they have high expectations for him,
yeah,
but he's going to get as much time. You don't draft to do number one and then give up on him unless his name is Jamarcus Russell.
please, Jamarcus out of
Jamarcus is the biggest.
sipping on scissor.
When you open up the dictionary and look up absolute bust worst number one pick ever, Jamarcus is right up there with a big old
Ryan Leaf, no?
Ryan Leaf went number 2,
Okay.
so he doesn't even count.
He thought that.
Jamarcus was number 1 with a bullet and should have been playing offensive line.
The cannon.
So, are there any good takeaways from the draft? I
Well,
like the Saints getting Spencer Rattler.
yeah. I mean, they need a quarterback of the future, but they got him the 5th round, maybe.
Well, yeah, that was the
Fifth,
crazy
sixth
thing.
round.
You said
got him for-
they broke the record for the most quarterbacks going in the first.
Yeah.
But then they broke the record for the longest amount of time before the
Yeah,
next
quarterback.
quarterback got drafted.
Yeah.
So Rattler didn't get picked. The next quarterback after Bo Nix,
Yeah.
who went number 12,
Yeah.
didn't get picked to like 150 something
Yeah.
in the 5th
Well,
round.
there's so much better, but see, most of those teams in between, they needed linebackers. I mean, because of the run.
Defensive
Yeah,
backs.
the run on defensive backs was insane.
Yeah.
I was like, this is unusual.
But you got to look, the quarterback class just got real weak after the top
Oh, yeah.
6 or whatever, right?
Well, we
but-
figured that. You know what surprised me? JJ McCarthy going in the top.
Yes. Oh my
That's a-
God.
So everybody was saying like that since the
Yeah.
in the
Days.
since pro days and everything that he like shot up the boards.
Mhm.
Like everybody really liked him. They were talking about maybe New York taking him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they already paid Daniel, right?
Right.
Daniel that money.
But they were talking about them taking him. Everybody likes Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like he's got receivers. He's
Yeah.
got he's stepping into a ready-made system.
Yeah.
We'll just see whether he's
There.
ready to do
Yeah,
it.
because I was like,
So would his role be more of like not saying he plays like him,
mm-mm.
but like the Brock Purdy, you already have your weapons. You need to just get the ball out.
Probably decent.
that would be best for
Because
him.
you look at it, he didn't even throw the ball at Michigan.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
I mean, so
yeah.
you don't really have it much to go by as far as
Yeah.
so
Well, see, that's what they said though. Even when you watch him in the championship game, I mean, defense took over and the run game took over. They didn't win that game on his arm.
yeah, they didn't have to.
I mean, I'm
So-
just saying they didn't have to,
Yeah.
but there all will be games in the NFL.
Yeah, he has to.
No, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, they're going, any D coordinator is gonna be like, he threw the ball 60 times. We're gonna see if he can throw it 60 times in a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there were some father-son duos that got drafted. You got Frank Gore, his son
Yeah.
got drafted.
Oh, it's a lot of that.
Who else?
Well,
Rice.
Marvin Harrison.
Marvin
Rice,
Harrison,
yeah.
Jerry Rice son
Well, he
got
went
drafted.
He was going for.
Where'd Jerry Rice's son go?
No,
To the Chargers.
Jerry Rice's
Okay.
son was in Chargers.
He was at USC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said,
Because Frank Gore's son went to the Bills.
yeah,
Son to the Bills.
yeah, because they were making comparisons, sons to dad.
Mhm.
Okay.
So they said, they're talking about Jerry Rice's son. They said, well, he's got body control, he's got this. Yeah, but he's not as fast as his dad, and his dad wasn't fast.
Right.
And then, of course, Marvin Harrison's dad, they did Marvin Harrison. And they were like, yeah, comparison, they said something silly. He said, yeah, but Marvin Harrison wasn't 6'3", 215. He was more like 5'11", 180.
He looked little. Yeah, he looked
He
small.
said, so trust me, I'm sure this guy is a ready-made receiver. He's just a bigger version of his dad.
Mm.
You know, so I was like, yeah, I mean, they were showing some of the highlights where he was toe tapping 2 feet down in college. We're only required to do one.
Yeah.
So he was like dragging his toes. Everybody
Yeah,
was like,
getting
yeah.
ready for it. Yeah.
He said, you know, so those guys, and of course, Gore's son is a little bit smaller. He's like, what, 5'9".
I mean, Gore's little. So,
Yeah.
so he got that from his.
Yeah, so, but he's gonna run hard, but Gore had one of the longest careers ever. for
Oh
the
yeah,
running back.
100%.
But
Yeah.
yeah, man, I love those little comparisons when they do those to give you, like I said, story, so you can remember the draft by.
Yeah.
I like it when they do those things.
Little father time moment, father.
Yeah,
moment.
yeah, father, son. I mean, because you figure Moss's son, who's a tight end, they tried to link that story, but his son really didn't pan out in the league.
Is he still in the league? I don't even
I
know.
don't know. He was on a couple practice squads.
Okay,
I know
gotcha.
because Washington picked him up.
Okay,
Then
gotcha.
after Washington, I don't know where he went. But, like I said, he's probably on somebody's practice squad, or, which is fine, but it's hard to break in at tight end.
Yeah.
So with the draft, right quick, before we wrap up,
Mm.
with the picks, organizations, head coaches getting placed, what conference is looking the hardest?
Well, okay, so everybody's looking at San Fran, but I think San Fran's about to implode because they're having a lot of contract disputes.
Yeah,
and I
between
think
Debo and what's the other wide receiver?
Ayuk.
Yeah.
Ayuk. So I saw on X that somebody said, I hate to say it, but Debo's gonna get traded before the season starts.
You think Debo's the one to get traded?
That's what I mean, I saw the headline,
The
didn't
ramblings.
read it, because Ayuk unfollowed whoever.
I got
They always do all that. Oh, they unfollowed him. Okay, whatever. Tell me when he gets traded or he gets into contract someplace else. So the Ayuk and of course Debo, not them, but those are two main weapons on the offense. And all you have, quote unquote, if those guys leave, is CMC.
Well, and Kittley. Don't
Yeah,
forget about
Yeah,
Kittley.
Kittle.
Well,
Yeah.
come on, Kittle.
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 Yeah.
Kittle. Yeah.
Well, see, but that's just your tight end. You having the weapons on the outside. It's gonna be tough.
Well, they're not getting rid of both of those dudes.
Well, no, it's just one of them.
And here's the thing. To me, if you're going to do that, that's before the draft is when you do it, because that's when people are trying to fill out their rosters.
Yeah.
So the fact that they didn't do anything makes me think that
They're
they're going to be
uncertain.
on the roster
They're
this
uncertain.
year. I mean, who knows?
Well, it depends though. They got June 1 cuts coming and they could trade. Like I said, we had our perfect landing spot I had my perfect landing spot for Justin Fields as in Atlanta. He's
Oh yeah,
he's
that
in
didn't even
Pittsburgh.
go. Yeah, that didn't even go.
They
as
signed
planned.
Kirk Cousins and I was going, why would you do that? But they want Kirk.
And then last thing, what's Jerry doing? What's y'all take right quick? I know y'all
Okay,
Cowboys.
all right.
You going first? All right.
Yeah, I got to hear.
Okay, first I'm gonna say Jerry is the de facto just voice moving from here on out. Steven is actually running everything. Steven and McClay. Jerry just talks. That's all. But when I look at the draft as a whole, we're not gonna talk free agency because we ain't doing nothing in that. They might as well sign me and AJ over here. We'll take a check to sit on the bench. But anyway, so they tried to address positions in need. Basically, is what they were trying to do. They needed O-line help, so they got a tackle and they got a guard. And of course, I didn't watch the tackle. I watched the guard, and the guard is a mauler. So I watched that guy out of what was that? Kansas.
Okay.
The guard out of Kansas. And when I say he's a mauler, he's a mauler. So they want to go bigger because, of course, it's an arms race against the other teams who have bigger interior alignment. And right, so everybody saying you didn't help Dak. I'm like, actually, you kind of did because now he's not getting what pressure right up the middle.
Gotcha.
right? So then of course they can kick Tyler Smith back inside, and they can put the tackle they drafted from Oklahoma outside, right? So that's, if you improve the line, you're supposedly are going to improve the run game and your pass game. So they're going from inside out because you already got skill positions. I swear to God, they're going to take another receiver. I'd be like, you got to be kidding me. I swear to God. Anyway, so they tried to, and again, position in need. They drafted a edge rusher because they lost a ton of edge rushers.
Okay.
So I get that. Then when they drafted the linebacker, because I was waiting for them to draft linebacker, I swear to God, I thought they were going to get. I wanted the guy from Texas A&M, but whatever. They don't listen to me anymore. But they did get a pretty good guy from Notre Dame, the linebacker, I think number 9 or 2. They said he has had, so of course they tried to draft the linebacker from Notre Dame, and of course the kick on him is he has not given up he has not allowed a pass catch in like 400 attempts against him. So that's like his entire career. And then of course they drafted, I think, what was it? They didn't draft a running back.
No, but I heard y'all about to re-sign.
Oh, yeah.
Zeke.
I'll get to that in a minute. I'll get to that in a moment. So, yeah, but so I think that their draft needs, they did address what we needed to address, but there's so many holes on our defense. Then last night in my tired haze, I saw a headline that said Zeke is coming back. And I was like, what?
There's your running back.
Nah, bro, we need an injection of like steroids or something.
Yeah.
Don't do that, kids. We need a fresh running back, man. But at right now like I said, I don't know why, but I guess they're bringing Zeke back. So you got Zeke, Rico Daddle, Deuce Vaughn, Malik. Well, you got Deuce Vaughn, then you got the other guy, Royce, that they signed Royce. Then you got Hunter Lipke in fullback. Then you got Malik the guy from Florida. So you still have these guys that are on the roster, but not on the roster. So you got 7+ running back because it's camp body. But as I said earlier, I mean Dallas is I think they're gonna make the playoffs just because of the core, but what they're doing makes no sense because they keep saying they have all these cap issues, but you watch all these other teams maneuver the cap and push money off. I believe that Jerry's not the Jerry of old, or he would have made a deal or done something nice, to push us over the top. I didn't see any of these moves pushing Dallas over the top in the next 2 years. So, because these guys have to develop.
Right.
Right. You're not gonna, unless you, like I said, because they didn't draft a quote unquote impact player, the player that was gonna push them over the top. To me, but anyway, it was a good draft, but we ain't going to no Super Bowl, people.
Okay, so here's what I think.
All right.
So if you look at Dallas's first round picks, I looked at a list of them yesterday.
Yeah.
Dallas, I would put Dallas's picks against anybody in the league.
Wait, first round pick.
We hit on them like almost all of them.
That second round pick.
But what I'm saying is all those first picks we hit on, right? But they're not flashy picks most of the time.
Mhm.
They're offensive linemen, right?
Yeah.
Or they're, like I said, it's not the flashy thing. Back in the day, we would go flash. Then we learned to go, just solid. And we got all these Pro Bowlers, all these Hall of Famers, all these, soon to be Hall of Famers. So I'm good with that. But again, that's the thing that's missing. And I don't see it I don't think it's a talent thing. So
What's the coaching thing?
I don't know if it's a coaching thing or if it's a in our head thing, because
He got enough children or blood to sell.
well, that could be it. All the grandkids, I told you that on another show. Yeah, that deal is done. He's gonna have to figure out a new deal to do. Unless Dak starts dating Taylor Swift.
Oh God.
It's gonna be tough to win the Super Bowl, but he's trying to do it the smart, the football, the solid way, right? You can't tell me last year Dak had the best season of his career. for how many years in a row we've been 12-4, 12-5, whatever.
Last 3 years.
So you can't say we don't have talent. You can't say we haven't played,
Anybody
you know,
Decent or something.
right. But in the playoffs,
choke.
something happens. Yeah, that's the only thing I can say about it. And there's not a one player you can put into that that's going to remove that. Now you could say, let's say you blame it on Dak, right?
Yeah.
Who we replacing him with?
Yeah. you
What,
can't-
what would we rather have done? Trade Dak, move up, and take Drake May? You think Drake May puts us over the top?
No.
You know, do you think any of these quarterbacks? No, because then you're
Jaden Daniels, I'm just kidding.
no. Only thing it does if you draft a young quarterback is it starts the clock on how much money you're paying him.
That's right.
But it also restarts you on where you are
Right.
as a team. So
We could trade him for Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow ain't going nowhere. You could trade the whole roster and they wouldn't give up
Go
Joe Burrow.
ahead, but yeah.
Well, I
But
mean,
that's my thing. So I don't have a problem with what Dallas did. Just because they still got to sign Dak.
Yeah.
Or somebody.
They're
And if
gonna-
it's not Dak, if you decide to move on for Dak, then we're just starting over. We got
Yeah.
nothing. You still gonna have to sign CD.
Yeah.
Still got to sign Micah. Those three are the core pieces, right?
Yeah.
So you got to build everything else around cheap, young,
Yeah.
and hope that that core can finally get you over the top.
the top.
I just don't see the move that, everybody, oh, we should have, I mean,
Well, there was
let's say we would have signed Derrick Henry. We're paying him way more money. He's an old dude. We don't know that and does that put us over the top? No.
No.
Our
It put-
offense was fine.
It puts last year's team over the top.
No, it didn't, because our defense is what let us down last year.
God, defense is horrible.
So you know what I'm saying? Like,
Needed a linebacker.
I don't,
Bad.
so I'm not really hating on Jared too much.
That's Steven.
Well, I mean, if
Well, Jerry, Steven, whoever.
if you guys change the color of your uniform
No, we're not doing that.
to red,
Red
maybe
what?
that would
Red
work.
what? The Chiefs?
I
You're-
mean, the
look.
reason that y'all ain't got no money is because Jerry is giving it to Calipari.
Man, please. Hey, just because my man likes his alum,
He look-
reps his school, hey,
Look, don't
nothing
hate
wrong
on
with
me.
that.
Look, Jerry said, look, I got a boat. I put a lean out against the boat in the helicopter to get Calipari.
For real.
That
For real.
Calipari. What
Well,
was
no-
that? Go ahead.
Go.
Because,
I'm about to say going into the NBA. Well, how our guys looking?
well, actually, no, man. The WNBA would be next, man. Did you see? We'll hit the draft.
Okay.
We'll hit that one. We'll hit the NBA a little after this. But so, because my man's got mad bars. He's a seats on fire over here. So and of course you showed us the clip.
Oh
of
yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
they, the Andrew Reese. Well, I mean, I know she got drafted 7th, not 1, but normally the top 10 usually get more accolades.
Now
Yeah.
the WNBA, that's what you gotta remember. This is the WNBA.
So,
All
Yeah,
this,
but more accolades for sure though.
yeah, but you normally get. I'm just saying, even if I was in the UFL back in the day with the cardboard,
Right, you get a nice little arrival.
At least I get something.
Yeah.
hey, look,
No,
They got
man.
hey,
nothing.
hey, there was some people sitting in their seats.
Yeah,
Some.
Listen, you gotta think. There's levels to this thing.
It is level.
Okay.
It's level.
But I'm in the top 10, man.
Caitlin Clark, she's catching all kinds of hate. And you know from who?
Who?
Haters. Haters. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Listen, it is not her fault
Yes,
that,
it is.
that she stepped into college basketball at the perfect time. And it's not her fault that she ended up with the perfect opposition, which was LSU.
Mhm.
It's not her fault that she's a white girl playing for Iowa.
Mhm.
It's just playing that.
It just worked out that way, right?
You're right.
Listen, think about this. Kelsey Plum had that record first. Another white girl. Didn't nobody care because Kelsey Plum was playing wherever Kelsey Plum was playing,
Yeah.
breaking the record. Nobody cared. Caitlin is shooting these logo threes, so that gives you that's kind of different. That's a little different. We haven't seen that before,
Mhm.
and they're going up against these juggernaut teams that don't look like them. They're the outlier. That's just perfect. You couldn't write it up any better. The script
Right.
writers couldn't write it up any better.
We got a story here.
Yeah.
We just need a bad guy.
Yeah, and guess who you got? Angel Reese
Reese.
stepped right up to take that. And they got the title, and she got the accolades that come from that. She's getting the heat from that as well. But, you know, look at wrestling, right? You gotta have a baby face and you gotta have a heel.
Yeah.
Caitlyn is the baby face and Angel was the heel, right?
Yeah.
But in wrestling, any of those dudes will tell you sometimes it's better to be the heel because you don't care if people hate you. You
Right.
just want them to watch
Watch
you.
it.
Yep.
So Angel could say, "Oh, this is horrible," and again, I'm not condoning any of the bad stuff that's happened, but would she trade her spot with, let's say, Cardosa, who got drafted higher, also has a title? But ain't nobody talking about Cardosa like they talk about Angel.
Angel, right.
Cardosa don't have the endorsements, the money, the fame, the notoriety. I don't think she would trade it, right?
Right.
Again, Caitlyn fell into the perfect spot. She came eligible to be drafted at the time when the team that's closest to where she is
Mhm.
has the pick.
Yeah.
So she's the
Perfect.
Midwest,
Perfect.
perfect spot, perfect time.
They were typing
They-
away hard. They were in there.
Yeah. They literally rolled out the red carpet,
Yeah.
and you know what? The whole WNBA should as well,
Yeah.
because they're gonna have more eyeballs on this season than they
And,
ever have.
And they're saying with that, the WNBA for I think several teams. I don't know if it's because Indiana's playing them or just because of the
Yeah, Caitlyn effect.
arenas are having to get new or they're having to play at other arenas.
Yeah, 'cause
that whole
because of the
6
demand.
times
But
more.
that's because of the demand. See, so what they need to do is what AJ said earlier, right? You gotta market it right, so you capture the audience, right? So you remember I was telling him earlier, you remember the commercials, Kyler Pratt used to do WNBA with little rascals playing in the background, and she'd walk up to like Lisa Leslie, be like, "Yeah, New York's gonna hand you your butt tonight," and she's like, "What?" Then she hands out a little scribbled piece of paper. You got to use these plays.
Oh, well, I didn't see that.
So
Yeah.
when you go, so that the marketing behind it needs to be something like that. Cause see, that went way back for me when I saw it. I'm like, yeah, I remember the whole little set of commercials, and that caused me to want to watch a little bit. I didn't watch a lot because if Lisa wasn't playing, Swoop wasn't playing, if so-and-so wasn't playing because they weren't in the commercial,
Right.
I didn't watch. But like you said earlier, if they can capture that momentum, the league will grow. Right, then of course, that means the money they get will grow, because the guy's like, oh, she'll only get $74,000. I said, yeah, but she's making millions of dollars on that endorsement.
Oh, yeah.
I said,
Crazy.
I said, and she's still getting her.
And she just signed with Nike.
Yeah.
What was it? 3 years, 20 mil?
28 or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's probably what the largest shoe contract.
Because why was Reebok starting at 3 million with Caitlyn Clark?
Well, they all threw their name in there, right? They were trying to, Puma, Under Armour,
Adidas,
everybody.
Yeah.
And so I saw where somebody was like,
Reebok was at the bottom.
but they're like, we're starting the bidding at this
3
amount.
million. Yeah, that's Reebok.
And
Yeah.
Reebok was like, I'm out. I can't go any higher than that.
Yeah, I mean, but okay, I get it, because I had a conversation with my cousin in Texas when he was talking about it. I said, look, I'm sorry. He said, well, she's only making 74 million. The guys are making XYZ. I said, yeah, but there's more eyeballs. There's more advertisements. There's more of this. I said, then on top of that, her league, her union negotiated these prices.
Yeah.
I said, just because somebody's popular doesn't mean the owner has to come out of his pocket and say, I'm gonna pay you $100,000. No, because why would I pay you more when you're giving me the exact same thing I want? I said, I'm not gonna do it. I said, corporate America ain't gonna do it, and neither is anybody else. I said, if you had a business and I could pay a guy $7.50 to do what $14 guys are, I'm gonna pay the guy $7.50.
Yeah.
That's just what business is, but like I said, but to capitalize on the marketing, I think that's something they should do. They should already have shoe commercials out doing it, Nike, because Nike used to, that was a Nike commercial and it was for women's shoes and it was advertising the WNBA. So if they capture that momentum, all these little people that will grow up and the viewership will grow, and then everybody else's will grow and they'll all have all this money. Because right now, women's college basketball is king.
Yeah.
They need to replace that and capture that momentum. So
And so I'm gonna tell you, and here's the other part, because I've been thinking about this a lot, right?
Okay.
The problem with the WNBA, one of them, there's many,
Mhm.
It's not the game. Game is fine.
Yeah.
There's no stories. There's no interest. Nobody cares. That's why nobody cared when Kelsey Plum broke the record, because it was just some girl breaking records.
Yeah.
Nobody cared. Nobody would have cared if Caitlin broke the record if they weren't in the finals against LSU. That started the whole landslide. It really did. And she and Iowa, to their credit, didn't just drop the ball.
They picked it
They
up.
kept going with it, right? It's not going to do this any good if now you can't capitalize on it.
Yeah.
And the biggest issue that the WNBA has is right now, that if you ask people on the street, name 5 women's basketball players, right? Everybody they're going to name is either
Old.
they're probably going to name the ones that are either in college now or that just left college, Caitlin and Paige and all them, right?
Yeah, you're right.
But the WNBA doesn't let you capitalize on that because you have to wait 3 years to come out. So think about this. Imagine what the WNBA's ratings would be if not only this year was Caitlin coming out, but if now Paige could have come out.
Yeah, she could have.
What if Juju could have declared?
Yeah.
Imagine what you got in the W. But now, as good as Juju is now, you gotta hope that maintains for 3 years. Because unless they change that in their bargaining agreement where you don't have to stay 3 years,
Then,
you're gonna miss out on all these young people that are popular.
Mhm.
By the time they get to the age where they can come, they may not be popular anymore, right?
And then with that, because we talked a little bit of that, out of these top 10 picks, how long do they have to stay in the league? Because we talked about how some WNBA players just can't stay in the league, or they need to get readjusted.
well, not readjusted, but it's different, right? So if you're a top 10 pick or in any league, you making the team,
Yeah, for sure.
right?
How long
This-
are you gonna stay?
what people see in the WNBA, you could be top 10 pick and not make the team.
Exactly. And that's because
So,
these women are in their 30s at the peak of their game. And you got a 21-year-old that's
fresh,
it's a
ain't-
different
figuring it
thing,
out, yeah.
right? And a lot of these, and again, a lot of them are hating a little bit, but they're saying to Caitlin, to Angel, to all these girls, you're gonna have a learning curve when you get in this league
That humble
because
experience.
because we're better. You know, we're not gonna let you the things that you were able to do in college against 18-year-olds.
That's not gonna fly here.
We're not gonna let you do that. Now, they could be cutting off their noses by their face because you go out there trying to make an example of Caitlin
Get examples.
and
they have.
and you know, she gets injured. Guess what your ratings do?
Or you go out there, you hate, and then Caitlin dropped 50.
That's good. Ain't
That's
no
good,
problem with that.
Well,
But then you need to start evaluating yourself.
Because what you want right now, like Tyra Taurasi, she called Lloyd.
Yeah.
Perfect. So when do they play?
yeah, we're gonna watch.
We want them to be guarding each other. We want to see if Caitlin can cook her.
Yeah.
We want to see if Taurasi hits her with a bow
Yeah.
and then steps over and says, "Little girl, not today."
Sure.
Now you got some drama, right?
Got stories.
Now people, that's gonna be what's gonna be on the news. Now people gonna start watching. Oh, I can't wait till they play again.
Yep.
That's what you gotta have. It's gonna fade away if Caitlin doesn't have the other side to it, right?
Yeah, that he needs a
You
bad.
gotta have
You gotta have a
the
bad.
other side, right? You gotta have drama in the teams because there's nothing wrong with the play. Play is good. It's just not interesting. It's like the UFL.
Yeah, anybody watching?
Nobody watches because there's no storylines. Nobody knows this quarterback and because I followed him and this team is their arch enemy. You gotta have that in sports. So yeah, you gotta have, it's not just the players, right?
Mhm.
It's got marketing and like popularity. There's a bunch of factors. And now this is gonna be the controversial thing right here.
Okay.
One reason, okay, think about any sport you want, right? And like now that we have NIL, it's not the sport so much as the individual. So for example, y'all know Livy Dunn, she's the gymnast at LSU.
Uh,
Okay.
Yes, I've heard of
So
her.
she got tons and tons of social media. She got commercials. I don't know how good she is at gymnastics,
Right.
but everybody thinks she's gorgeous and cute and all that stuff, right? Sometimes it's not just how you are on the field,
It's awesome.
it's the other stuff, right? So, women aren't the ones that watch sports.
Yeah.
It's men.
Yep.
And unfortunately, for men to be interested, a couple things gonna have to happen. You need some attractive women.
Yep.
That's just the bottom line. And you need to market them that way. You need to see them in commercials. You need to see them on TV.
Eyeballs.
And then then they've got to be able to play. And then they've got to be able to have a story.
Yeah.
That's the three things you need
Right.
when it comes to, how popular it's going to be for women, for women's sports, right? So,
So in sports.
for men to watch, you got to either have a storyline.
Or storyline,
Or the women have to be attractive. You really just do. Because men aren't going to watch
Right.
if they're not. And I hate to say that, it is true. Why do you think women's tackle football
don't
didn't
take it.
do anything? What'd they do? They made it lingerie football.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they still ain't done nothing.
But what I'm saying is, did more than when,
Well, yeah.
Fully
more
padded, right?
viewers started
tried.
approaching. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
He said
And that's bad. And I hate that that's a fact. And, the NBA doesn't have to worry about that, but it's dudes watching it and they're watching for other reasons. Women don't support women's sports to the extent where it's just the purity of the game and they just
Yeah.
watch it. Men are the ones that love sports, watch sports, and the people that end up becoming uber popular have to have some kind of appeal, and the sport has to have some kind of appeal. And then that's where the money follows. So unfortunately,
So with the money aspect,
yep.
I know that you can. When is it going to be more popular where betting is going to be for the WNBA as opposed
Well, I
to
mean,
the
you're already betting games now.
Right, you are.
I mean, their games. I mean, literally, if you go into the app, you can bet on their games. But like I said, people bet on horse racing, right? I mean, is it truly popular? I mean, think about it. What are the horse races we look at? The Belmont.
Oh, the
Kentucky
Triple Crown,
Yeah.
Kentucky Derby and the
Kentucky
Preakness.
Derby. Do you see that on any other than that day? No.
But there's millions of people
Bet.
that bet horse racing
racing,
every
yeah.
day, right?
Yeah,
Um,
so that's the part of it, right? So in order to drive, I mean, the betting revenue is, again, as we always been about tapping into it, but again, to do that, you need to drive those eyeballs to that screen, because the real money is where the advertisers are.
Yeah.
Bet money, Vegas can say, we're only gonna give you 10% of the cut. Advertisers, but they're gonna cut you a check so they can be on TV, and that check is guaranteed.
Mhm.
That's why we're having all these super conferences, because they want that money.
Money.
If so right now, Caitlin is the hottest thing in sports, right? And they're hoping that they can capitalize. I mean, they've already sold out the jerseys. They've already had to get a bigger arena. They've raised their ticket prices. Like, all that's worked perfectly, right? So now, when they play, you got to have some kind of compelling thing.
Yeah.
So that's me. The other women going up against her. How does she do? Because again, the game part of it is like fourth on the list.
Mhm.
It's the other stuff that everybody wants to see. I'll give an example. Somebody on a podcast I was listening to made this point. I'm going back to it again, but they said if you look at even the style, right? Look at college basketball. The girls are wearing like their shorts are shorter. They're wearing the leggings, one leg.
Yeah.
They got so they're into that whole thing because they know how big the social media is. I'm not saying that the WNBA women aren't,
Right.
but a lot of those women that are kind of on top of the game are older players. They're not into that whole thing that the young people
Like, I don't
are
need to
into
have
now.
all the little arm sleeves,
Yeah.
and the swag and all that.
But that's what people,
Right.
but that's what people are looking for, right? So they're wearing, somebody made the comment, long baggy shorts, which is what's comfortable and what, everybody used to wear. But the
Yeah.
style now,
They're
if you
shorter.
look, the shorts are kind of a lot shorter.
Then they tuck them in.
And they tuck them in.
Yep.
They roll the sleeves up at the
Yeah.
top. All of that is part of it. And so let's say the WNBA has rules where you're not allowed to do that. It's hurting you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in the NFL, we're
Yep.
talking the no fun league. So people love college football. Part of it is because they want to see what uniform they're gonna break out with next.
Mhm.
NFL's like, nope, same helmet, same uniform,
And everybody
socks
got-
pulled up, same color shoes.
Your celebrations get
Yeah.
smaller and
But
smaller.
if you're trying to attract a younger market,
Yeah.
sometimes you got to change with them. You got to move with the times,
You have-
and that's what where the eyeballs are. If you can get young kids to fall in love with your sport, hopefully you can sustain that till they're older when they're actually making money.
Yep.
But if you can't capture the young eyes, and the kids are saying, "Mommy, please buy me this jersey. Mommy, look, that's so and so on the commercial. Buy me those chips that
Yeah.
she just had.
Mhm.
I want those shoes.
Yep.
Take me to this game."
Yep.
50-year-old mom, she ain't thinking about all that
Okay.
stuff, right? Which chips are cheaper? Which chips do I like?
Yeah.
You know,
You gonna eat what I give
you gotta capitalize on that stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's the whole point though, that you
Yeah.
have to capitalize. I mean, because like I said, when we talked about it before, you gotta remember, right? Did the NBA start out the way it was? No.
no,
They had all those gimmicks. They were the ABA and you had the NBA, right? They had the ABA was a struggling fledgling league and they were doing stuff like giving stuff away at halftime. We score 100 points, everybody gets free popcorn. So they had to do something, they were letting people dunk, they were dribbling, all because you didn't have all the rules in the ABA that you had in the NBA. So, but again, they merged the marketing and the product took off.
well, and here's the other thing. It really took off, just like with Caitlin in the WNBA, Michael Jordan. I mean, Bird and Bird and Magic
Yeah.
did the other part of it, which was you had the
Building.
East Coast, West Coast, black, white,
Yeah.
blue collar, Showtime.
Yeah.
Everything was perfect, right? It wouldn't have happened without all those dynamics.
Right.
Then Jordan comes in,
Yeah.
and it just hits the stratosphere. He's a good looking, bald head,
Not in trouble.
got the style going on.
Yeah,
He's
swag,
got the
his
smile.
shoes.
He's got the tongue sticking out. He's a high flyer.
Yeah.
And then you get him the shoe, and then it's taken off and became the biggest thing ever.
Yeah.
That's all attributed to him.
Mhm.
And so right now, imagine if the old head dudes then, and again, they did, they tried,
Intimidate 'em.
the Detroit, they had we're gonna rough him up a little bit.
Mhm.
But imagine if they had
Welcome to
tried to ice him out, tried to be like, nah.
Yeah.
What would the league be now?
Oh, and they didn't welcome him in at all?
That's what I'm saying.
wow.
If they were like, man, who's this young dude think he is? We've been doing this. We're just as good as he is, which is what the old heads are doing now with Caitlin.
Yeah.
Who she thinks she is? Why are they giving her all this,
Accolades.
Same
accolades?
thing happened with Braun. With Cleveland not wanting
Well,
the teammate.
yeah, just because they were like, oh, who's you think? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, but teammates, we saw that.
Well, we
Yeah.
see where they are.
Exactly. But again, Caitlin's gonna have to show it with her play,
Yeah, she is.
and that will sustain the popularity. But again, you still gotta have the storylines. So
Does anybody other than Caitlyn? We obviously know they bring attention to the sport, but that can help push that faster or make that
Right
process
now?
go faster.
Who's the chick with the threes?
are you talking about Sabrina?
It's a Sabrina. So they will and will always have other storylines. It's about which ones will truly interest. They gotta find
Yeah.
one that's going.
That's what I'm
But see, but the thing with Sabrina, nobody cared about Sabrina
Sabrina,
either
yeah,
until they put her up against Steph.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. So they're gonna have to market it just right to make sure you get the perfect storm. Because like you said, did I know who she was until they did the 3-point challenge? No, I did not.
Right.
Right? I didn't, because I don't watch the WNBA
Yeah.
like that. I mean, again, I won't watch the WNBA. I mean, if there's a game on and I'm home, I may flash to it, but then again, I'll probably look at it, then I'll flash to something
Gotcha.
else. I'll say, okay, then, or, I may be flashing between the UFL and a WNBA game. Which one of these is more interesting or intriguing?
Well, I guarantee everybody's be watching that first Fever
Oh, yeah, next
game,
year. Oh, yeah,
just
definitely
like
next year.
everybody was watching. I mean, it ain't this year.
Ain't it sold out? Ain't the first game sold
Oh,
out?
it's already sold out. All their home games are already
Yeah.
sold out.
And this year, it's this year, right? Yeah. 'cause
Yeah,
this
they
year-
play. It'll be starting soon.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing about WNBA. They have college basketball ends.
Yeah,
The draft is like a week later.
Yeah.
Training camp is like 3 weeks from that, and then the season starts. I guess.
I have been seeing videos of training camp.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
people going
it's-
through
it's-
their-
Yeah, they're going, yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, but they gotta capitalize, you know, like I said, cause I mean, like you said, I haven't, in this in the social media age, you know, I really haven't seen many commercials with her in it.
Right.
Caitlin in it?
Caitlin.
Oh, I see
Yeah.
commercials with her all the time.
Really?
They don't have anything to do with WNBA yet.
Yeah.
Now
like-
it's all of
that's
her.
what I see that.
regular stuff.
Yeah, with the
Cause I don't, I was
commercials.
about to say, I didn't
Yeah.
either.
I see it for the WNBA, is what I was referring to.
Gotcha.
not so
Yeah.
much about
Well,
her.
I don't think there's. I can't. I
Until
can't
they
think of any.
sponsor it or something.
I can't think of any WNBA commercials, but I guarantee you will see them.
Yeah.
her
yeah,
face
They
is gonna be all-
better hurry up and stop making
They
them.
started making it because again, like we got what, a 30 seconds window
Yeah.
of memory, you know, especially, you know, cause I can tell you what the last NBA commercial I saw, yeah, I can tell you somebody's getting dunked on. Oh, you know, and of course, you know, that's what they throw at you during the playoffs. It's all those nice highlights where somebody's hitting a three or somebody's dunking on somebody or somebody dropping to the lane and switching their hands.
Yeah.
And you're going, yeah, that's like a pretty interesting game. You know.
But
yeah,
again, nobody cares about the game.
yeah, they don't.
They care about the
Who's in it?
personalities
Who's in it?
and who's in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now again, the game. The purists, they care about the game, right? The women that are playing it, they care about the game.
Yeah.
But they got to remove that from the business part of it.
The average non-hooper that's watching.
Yeah, and the reason they're watching is because of all this. Oh, what's this I hear about?
Right.
Angel Reese and
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark, and they don't like each other, and
Yeah,
whether it's
But
made
then
up
your
or whether-
fans start to
Yeah.
act, well, I'm not saying that it's not true or
Yeah.
false. But then the fans start to believe that,
Yeah.
like, oh, well, now let me pick a
Yeah,
side.
Yeah, if you say
Yeah.
enough, if you
Yeah.
say it enough in the media, they'll believe it.
Yeah, and that's that's you got to feed off of that. That's that's the point.
Yeah.
And it's just like with any women's sport now. Like I watch the women's U.S. soccer team way more than I watch the men.
Yeah.
One, the women are dominant.
Yeah.
Two, it's way more interesting. And three, like I've paid attention to some of those like stories, and
Stories,
some
yeah.
of those
They have more
characters,
personality on that
more
team.
personality, exactly. So the arguments about like who should get paid what, in that case, they should be getting paid as much or more than the men.
Mhm.
They win more people watch.
Yeah.
So it's like the things against the WNBA, you know, people don't watch, it's not bringing in revenue. Women's soccer brings in more than men's soccer. So in that case, they were right when they like
Paid them more.
petitioned and to get more money because they were completely true.
Mm.
You know, who watches, do you watch more men's tennis or women's tennis? I watch more women's tennis because
Yeah, I was about to say, I
Serena,
figured it out.
Serena doing her thing, and
What was the light skinned girl? I think she kind of chilled out for a little bit.
The one who had the girl from Japan.
Naomi
Yeah.
Osaka.
Yep.
Yeah.
But again, and cute girls playing tennis,
It looked
you know.
cat suit.
Well,
Come on,
yeah,
Cass.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, my eyes were
Um, but I'm just saying, that's it's again, it's bad to say. It's bad to say. I'm admitting it,
true.
but it's so true. And you can either move, you can use that to your advantage,
Or not.
and a lot of people do, or not.
Yeah, because there's a few women golfers that are like really cute. And
Yes.
They capitalize on that.
Yeah.
They put on the sport, whatever.
They start doing
dirt
the
short
the
thingy.
magazines
Yeah,
where they.
magazines and
I mean,
they're
because
like-
again, what you do on the field is great,
But yeah.
but in the magazines, when you're doing photo shoots and stuff, and when you're doing, all that matters, man.
Yeah.
It brings eyeballs to the
Yeah, you want
table.
eyeballs, like, so you get-
And just like with that, like a boring sport, like to a lot of people, like golf, right? Tiger Woods made it the most popular thing on TV.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because he was just a great golfer, it's because of everything else.
Yeah.
He looked different than everybody else. He was young, he was celebrating, he was putting
Mhm.
more emotion into
They
it.
sure did.
And the sport took off like it never has before. There's dudes now that are winning on the level almost that he was. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Because it's just another white dude playing golf.
Yeah.
There's no storylines. There's no.
He ain't doing nothing different
See,
than
yeah,
the other
you know,
50 that came
and
before.
and you had, and it, just like in the storyline, Tiger was painted as a hero, and all the old guys that were stuck in their ways were the bad guys.
Yeah.
They were the establishment.
Yep.
Look at him celebrating on he has no decorum.
And look at all the fans that are coming now, and they're loud and they're
Yeah.
boisterous and they're, cheering. Like, that's not the way this game is supposed to be. Well, guess what?
That's
Everybody
not gonna
now
be
is benefiting on that money that you brought.
Yeah.
So just like NBA people need to be happy that LeBron and Kobe and Jordan and Magic and Bird did their thing. The WNBA better be glad that Caitlin right now is doing her
WNBA
thing.
is gonna have to, like you said, change with the times.
Yeah,
they have
The
to.
players,
yeah.
the association, like,
It has to. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, they gotta capitalize on that. I said they have to capitalize on the momentum, because if not,
It's not gonna,
be another lull.
Yep.
Because think about, because when it first came out, they were doing commercials, they were doing this, you had all your Cheryl Swoops, they were in like Wheaties commercials and Nike commercials and this, they were doing car commercials,
And
so they were out, their presence was out there.
and there was also to, go with what we were talking about as far as the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark
Yeah.
comparison, as far as when they came and the interviews and stuff. There was also a thing where there were some upset people about Caitlin Clark getting her deal, as opposed to Asia Wilson.
See, and that's my thing. Listen, Asia Wilson is a great basketball player, but nobody cares. Nobody watched. It's not about how good you are that determines whether you get a shoe or whether
But
you
she
get a
will
commercial.
eventually.
Yeah.
Why? Why should she?
No, I'm saying she will eventually, but not right now.
No, I'm saying why.
I mean, she's one of the best players in the league.
And you buying let me think. You getting a Shea Gilgeous shoe?
I would, but he's not
That's
there.
what I'm
so,
saying.
yeah.
It's not about how good you are that determines what you get. It's how many people want what you
I
got.
ain't buying Lucas.
But you know what I'm saying? Asia is a great player, but she ain't moving the needle. So why would I go buy Asia shoes before I would want Caitlin shoes? I'm not
Yeah.
buying either, but
Yeah.
Look, my foot ain't gonna fit in there.
Yeah,
they don't,
but that was a thing as well, though.
But you know what I'm saying? It's not about how good you are. It's whether anybody wants it.
Yep.
If there was a demand for Asia shoes, they'd have made them a long time ago.
Yeah,
And
you're
that's
right.
the
You're right.
thing. It's
Yep,
not-
that's it, like I said, marketing.
just because you're good, don't mean you
A lot of
got
good-
commercials and shoes and all that stuff.
Yeah,
It just
because,
doesn't.
yeah, because I mean, think about it, to play on that level, everybody's good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to play, and I quote, to play on any professional level, you're good.
Look, I love Jokic,
Yeah.
but does Jokic have the hot shoe? He's a great player.
Well,
But he
I
can't
If I'm
shoes.
buying his shoe.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bronze 45 come out, everybody, that line will be right around the
But you
building.
know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about how good you are. It's about, do people want what you're selling?
Yeah.
And that's it. Is it cool?
So rock.
Is it cool, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Is it innovative?
there's
Is
great,
it,
there's great players out there,
Yeah,
but
not yet, but like I said,
Yeah.
if they want it.
yeah, there'll be, if there's a demand for it,
Yeah,
Think about
like-
it,
you'll
think
get
about it, think about it like this, there's still a demand for Jordans, like first
to this
year.
day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Day, I mean, and to get the black and white or the blue, because they had the Carolina blue and white when they first. came out.
Man,
And I had
they
all
make
of
the- they can make they had the same silhouette and make it different colors every year.
Yeah,
People
buy
still
it.
gonna buy it.
I'm just saying, but like when it first came out, right, everybody really didn't buy it now, because
Now
there's
people
still,
get dying over.
yeah, they down on it, so there's still a demand, i.e.
Yeah,
supply, demand.
Yeah.
that, because they've marketed the shoe so well, but
Yeah,
of course.
but yeah, it's, again, sports is not about sports. The playing on the field is about how good you are and championships, but that doesn't always translate into marketing and money. So Caitlin hadn't picked up a basketball yet in the
Yeah, right.
WNBA,
she's-
but she's got all this stuff,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, so the Aces, the Las Vegas Aces, that were like back-to-back champions.
See,
Who cares?
his expression says it all.
Yeah, but
Cause I didn't know who won.
But the women's national championship had more viewers
Yeah.
than the NBA playoffs, the
Yep.
WNBA, than all of that, right?
Because of what, the storyline.
The
and it-
storyline and the
passion.
players and what we've learned who we've learned to look. I can tell you the whole daggone starting five for those teams. I couldn't tell you anybody but Asia, what's the last name, Wilson?
Wilson, yeah.
I couldn't tell
For
you
the
anybody but
Aces,
her for
yeah.
the Aces.
Yeah, you're right.
you know?
Cause I was gonna ask and be like, well, who's the face of the league right now? WNBA.
See, that's the thing.
Caitlin Clark.
See, that's what they.
And she hadn't picked up a basketball yet.
Prior to Caitlin, who was the what? Nobody knows because we really.
Yeah, you
like
could
that.
easily say it's this person over this person over this
Yeah.
person based off skill.
Yeah,
whatever that-
yeah, I could say who I think's the best players,
Yeah.
but the face of the league, I don't know. I
They
mean,
don't have one.
but right now they do, and they better
They
be
get
happy,
one.
and they better be happy
Yeah,
she's
they
in
gotta-
there.
Yeah, they gotta definitely market her right properly. So, you know, then of course, like I said, she's gonna have a villain or her antagonist, and I think her
Do you think
antagonist.
she's gonna
would
be able to choose her villain?
No, you never choose your
Yeah,
villain.
it's gotta happen.
It's just organic.
Like I said, right now, if you had to say right now, it's Diana Taurasi because she's
Yeah,
the one talking a little junk.
Hey,
But
Yeah,
but it's gonna be
the rest of the whole league.
everybody going up against her, and it's gonna be interesting. I'll be watching. I'll be watching.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting, except with, you know, the story will come and it always does. And even if they're in on it, you know, because they always said, I was laughing about that. Like, yeah, let's run with it because more eyeballs, you know. Like I said, like that fight you showed me, you know, dude, psych him out.
Ryan
You know,
Garcia.
he's not, no, we just, you know, basically the tactic, he used a tactic that he wasn't into the fight, but then when he got to the fight, he was all about the fight.
Yeah.
So, you know, so they, excuse me, if, you know, if they market it right and they get the right heel, as you say, you know, it'll work out. I mean, even if the heel happens to be her against the West,
They'll figure it out.
they'll figure it out.
They
But-
need to figure it out.
Oh, they will. Oh, yeah, you know, they do. I mean, I said they do, you know, they really, really do, because like I said, they need to capitalize on the momentum.
This is the most anybody's talked about the WNBA,
in
Ever.
years.
and you need to, and so don't hate on Caitlin because she's the one. I feel bad for her because she's not asking for this.
Right.
She's getting it, and she's happy she's getting it. And she probably just wants to play basketball and just
Shut 'em
show
up.
what she can do.
Mhm.
But you know, like I said, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Right again.
She came along at the right time, and
Yeah.
I'm wishing her the best.
All right, yeah, but with that, I know it's a short episode. Like I said, you know, some of us have to run to our second jobs, unfortunately. Darn it. Just kidding. It's a joy. It's a joy to work with the children. But with that, like I said, we again are trying to grow the channel. We had some, we did grow a little bit, like I said, so we want to thank those new subscribers. Again, keep liking, keep sharing with your friends and families. Like I said, we want to grow this organically, you know, then when the big advertisers come in, we'll start wearing, you know, suits, ties, and being more controlled.
Right.
Now we'll have logos on
Yeah,
you
we
know,
have
everything.
logos, you know, so yeah, if you want to advertise now, we can do that too. You can send us a check, you know, I don't know, we definitely gonna cash
But wear your shoes.
it. Say, wear your shoes. But with that, the 11th episode's coming to an end. Like I said, please like, share, subscribe. Again, three guys came together organically to talk sports, the Novice Sports Show. Like I said, we're gonna sign off with my man,
AJ.
and my man,
Jay.
and A-Dub. Like I said, it's been peace. It's been a
Peace
pleasure.
out.
All right.
Boop.